welcome to my latest video. I've just finished up the third day of 3 days of pretty difficult work, challenging mentally, having to figure a whole bunch of stuff out, challenging physically on my back, and frustrating because I've discovered my least favorite building job and I didn't enjoy it. And watch until the end to see what it is and whether I'm successful or not with this new nemesis job. I'm filthy, I'm tired, but I feel like this is a really good video packed with a whole bunch of work, and I push forward quite a bit on the shower. So have a watch, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again at the end. I'm very excited because today is the day that I'm finally gonna lay the concrete floor so that it slopes towards the drain. The drain ended up being a little higher than I was expecting, so I have to rebuild the floor a little bit, but that's okay because the first time I did it, I'm not exactly sure I got the slope correct. Plus, I've moved the drain, so I would have had to build up some of the floor anyway. So just doing the whole thing all in one go, trying to be careful about everything, using the laser level, and yeah, just taking my time with it will make it easier when I put the tiles down. I think I can do some correction with the tile adhesive to raise and lower things, but if I can get it as close to perfect as possible with the concrete, that's great, and that's my goal. So I've already mixed up a bag of cement with this waterproofy stuff that goes in and makes it water resistant. But I've got some measuring and things to do first, so I'm gonna head to the shower tray, get the laser level out, and see if I can come up with a plan, and then we'll mix the cement up with sand and get it in the tray. So things are looking really good in here. I'm happy with the drain. I'll have to lift this off and cover everything up. And I don't know what my plan is. Probably shoot the laser level around the outside so I can get I don't know, so I can measure down and get a line to work to around the edge, and then maybe get some sticks, stick the level on them, and slope each section of floor towards the corner of the drain. That sounds about right in my head. But for now, let's just tidy up and do some prep. Chopped up a little cat food bag, and I guess I'll just try to secure this down. I obviously don't want any concrete or cement or whatever going on the grid, and I actually don't really want it going on this edge either. I think that's where the tile adhesive is supposed to go, so I'm only going to be really working to the outside edge of this drain thing. Okay, drain secure. Get rid of this stuff. I'm actually going to put some of this mesh stuff down on the floor. I lined my splash pool with it, and I think it's just going to help with cracking. And since I have a whole roll of the stuff, it seems silly not to just use it. Definitely won't harm anything, and it can only help, even if just a little bit. So I guess what I'll do is measure down from this line the whole way around, and then that'll allow me to have sort of an edge to work from that I can slope down to. Seems to make sense, but as always, I'm never 100% sure, but let's make the line and see what it looks like. So the top of the drain is about 8.5 centimeters. Hopefully it's the same over there. Yeah, that looks good. That means the drain is level, which is very exciting. So I guess I need to, how will I do this here? I don't know. So if I go across to there, 8.5 centimeters, that's inches. And then I'll want to go first step, I'm going to mark the height of the drain on the wall, and then I'm going to measure down to that point there, and then I'm going to measure down the rest of the way. So I guess I'll probably want to have the slope start at least a centimeter above the drain and slope down. I don't know. I need to actually research what the fall should be for this sort of thing. So, to the internet. So I'm just in the shower tray making some lines. I haven't been filming it because it's not massively exciting, but now this little guy has come to say hello. And he's a lot more exciting than lines, and he's very happy. Always purring. But my friend, I have to get back to work. So I'm just going to continue drawing this top line along the edge of the tray, and I'll check in again when I'm ready to explain the method to my madness. I've done a little bit of research online, and I'm feeling medium confident that I'm on the right track. So I'll see you soon. We will see you soon. So in this bucket, I have a mix of 3-to-1 cement, which has already been pre-mixed with the waterproofing stuff, and sharp sand. And I'm going to mix it up with the paddle drill dry, and then when I add water, I'm going to do it with the shovel because I find that it's difficult to get a stiff mix. Using the paddle drill, I always make it a little bit too soupy, and for doing the base of a tray, I want to have it a little thicker maybe than I would for other things so that I can make sure it sort of stays on the slope that I want. So I'll mix this up, and then I probably have way too much in here, so I'll decant some of it and mix up a smaller batch than this with the shovel, and we'll chuck it in the tray. So I've moved enough of the mix out of the big bucket into the small bucket, and then I'm going to add water to the big bucket, and hopefully there's not too much in there that it makes it really hard to mix. Mixing with a shovel can be pretty tricky and difficult, and it is actually quite hot out and humid, so I don't want to strain myself too much. And I also don't want to be left with too much cement at the end. I'd rather have not enough and then do a small batch at the end to finish it off. So that's the method to the madness. And the other madness is in the bottom of the shower. I've figured out, I think, what I'm supposed to do. The internet has given me some guidance. So before I add water to this bucket, let's go into the tray. I'll show you what my plan is. I'll get everything prepared, and then we'll start making the floor. Welcome to the craziness. Before I explain what's going on here, I cut a piece of this stuff, which is gonna lay in this space. I'll put a little bit of cement down first, then I'll squash this into it, and then I'll finish off the tray after that. So, what's going on here, you ask? The lower line there is the height of the drain, and 1.5 centimeters above that, the top line, the whole way around, is where I'm going to slope down from. And I got that by measuring the longest point from the corner, the farthest corner, to the drain. This is about 75 centimeters, I think, and they wanted, or the internet told me, a minimum of a 2% slope. 2% of 75 is 1.5 centimeters, so that's why it's 1.5 over here, higher than the drain. I can correct any of this with the tile adhesive later on, so if this sounds horribly incorrect, I'm very open to comments and advice on this section because I really am not sure what I'm doing, but it seems to make sense. And when I did it the first time, and also when I did it with my splash pool, I didn't have any guides like this. The splash pool, I did have the laser level, but when I did the subfloor for this the first time around, I didn't even have the laser level, so I don't remember what I actually did. I might have just been going by eye on a hope and a prayer. I've got these sticks here so that once I actually lay the cement in, I'll be able to see if it's sort of dipping down at any points within the run of the bit to the drain. I don't know if that makes any sense. But you know what? I've been doing so much talking, and I'm really just anxious to get to work, but I do want to convey the fact that it's the prep in something like this that takes the longest time, especially because I don't fully know what I'm doing and I have to do some research. So it's been very time consuming getting to this point, and laying the cement's probably not going to take much longer than 20 minutes or so. So it's been a big build up to get to here, and now I'm very anxious to mix up the cement and get it on the shower floor. I'm actually going to mix in this thing instead. It's what it's designed for. I'll do smaller batches and it'll just be easier. That'll do. I've made my life difficult because I think with the mesh it makes it a little difficult to see the line. Plus the line is only a faint pencil mark, so that'll be a little tricky. But I've got some light, so hopefully I can do that. So I don't know, I guess my plan is to start with the line, build it up to that level, and then use the sticks to try to slope it down. Wish me luck. Hello, little dude. This is a pretty good spot. It's usually Mikey's spot, though. Anything you can do to torment Mikey, you seem to. So I'm out of mix again. This will be my third mix that I'm doing. It's pretty easy to mix it up, but it's time consuming to film it. So I'm gonna get the last little bit on the floor, and I'll check back in again when I'm ready to maneuver everything into the correct slope. Hopefully it's not too difficult, because I'm really tired. My back is quite sore. This is pretty difficult work because you're sort of hunched over trying to reach, and I just want it to be finished because it'll be a massive job off my list, and then I can come outside and enjoy what is turning out to be an absolutely beautiful night. The weather right now is pretty perfect. End of January. This is what Portugal's all about for me, these beautiful sunny winters. And yeah, I absolutely love this weather. So if I can get out for a little bit of a short walk, that'll be great. So I'm gonna push through the work, and you'll see me again fairly soon. Okay, I'm back. I've got a little teeny tiny bit of mix left. I'm using my cushion as my knee pads. And I've got the sticks down. And you can see, I guess, what they're for. It just helps me see where the bigger dips are. So this one obviously has a little bit of a dip there. A dip there. And probably, yeah, so there's quite a bit needed under here. And then over here, it looks like this is sticking up, so I'll kind of just maybe move some of that stuff away. I don't know, I'll have to put the camera down and work on that. This looks pretty good, although it's got, it's sticking up here, so it probably needs some of the stuff shifted around a little bit. And same over here, it's got a little bit of a divot or a dip sort of there. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be moving these around, filling the spots, and it'll probably be a massive pain in the neck. Let's see. Whew, so this is really tricky, reaching this back corner. I'm definitely doing some acrobatics behind the camera that nobody really needs to see. One thing I have noted about putting the drain in the corner instead of in the center is that this part in the corner here that's got the shorter distances is going to be quite steeply sloped, because I have to keep everything level around the outside for the tiling. But that should be okay. It's not like I'm going to be standing in the corner much. I'll be standing in the center. So I think I'm happy with this. It's been tricky, but I think the sticks have helped. Okay, the job is done. I feel really pleased with the work, but I won't get a walk in after all. The day just got away from me. The days seem to go by really quickly lately, but I'm getting a lot of good stuff done, I think, so that's okay. And tonight, I think I'll just chill out, watch some movies, and hang out with the cats. And have a quiet one, because tomorrow I've got a big day ahead trying to figure out how to lay some tiles. I'm really hoping to get tiles down on the bathroom side of this operation. I've never laid a tile in my life, so tonight's activities will also include watching some YouTube videos about tiling. The excitement here in Portugal just never ends. So I'm gonna sign off from today, and I'll see you again bright and early tomorrow morning. Good morning. We've seen a lot of your brother, but not a lot of you. Where have you been? Oh, here he comes. Here he comes. Never a moment alone. Good morning. I feel like a broken record, but it's another sunny day in Portugal. It's absolutely beautiful out here, and it's a shame to be working inside, but today is the day. I'm hoping to get some tiles down, and so I'm very excited about that. And then after that, I really do need to get back outside. I've got some grapevines to prune. I want to prune some olive trees. I've got a lot of things that have been neglected, so I'll switch focus back to the land. But for now, I'm determined to get this bathroom side of the floor tiled. But before I get started on that, I've got some lime in a bucket over here that needs to go on the wall in the bathroom. So I'll get that done, and then we'll move on to figuring out how to tile the floor. So I've got a bit of prep to do before I get started on this wall, which I'll do off camera. But basically I want to lime up to this point, which is going to be the bathroom counter. The reason being that I don't know if I want to go clay above that or what, but I definitely want lime underneath, so I might as well just do that part now, and I can make a decision later on. But first, let's take a look at the work I did yesterday. Though I said that this would take 20 minutes, it actually took about an hour, so still not as long as the prep, but not as short as I thought it would be. There are some weird black dots in the concrete. I don't really know what that is, but it's all solid, looks good. I'm keeping it sprayed with the bottle as it cures, and I'm happy with the work. But today is all about these guys, and I'm excited to get the prep done and get them on the floor. So anyone out there who watches my channel knows that I don't exactly rush into decisions. In fact, I take a ridiculously long time to decide on anything. And this morning has been a frustrating example of that. I have to determine what I'm doing with the baseboards, and I have to figure out the thickness of this wall in the panel behind me before I can know where the tiles are going to go. And so I have some pondering to do. I'm not sure if I want to tile around the baseboard of the bathroom side with the little tiles, like will go in the shower, or if I just want to have wooden baseboards. And I also don't know the thickness of any of those things yet. Well, I guess I know the thickness of the small tiles, but anyway, I have a lot of thinking to do. So what I do know how to do is stick render onto a wall. And to help me visualize the space a little bit better, I did do something this morning with this scrap piece of wood. So let's put that in place, and let's just get some render on the wall. Okay, here we go, little shelf. Get in there. So this is not the shelf of my dreams. I would really love a nice, big, thick, chunky piece of wood. I don't exactly know what type. I'll probably have a sink sit on top of it. Decisions still to be made as per usual, but for the moment, let's use this shelf to... And once I put it back, after I do the liming, it'll be a place for me to just keep all my bathroom stuff, because for the moment, it's everywhere. Okay, let's lime. So my camera seems to like to freak out at the most annoying moments. So I've already done this patch. Filmed it, but didn't film it. But there's plenty more wall to lime, so I'll just carry on. Okay, the wall is limed, and as you can maybe notice, I've gone a bit higher than the top of this counter will be, and that's because I don't exactly know what I'm doing. I might connect it to the lime. I probably want lime up at the top where it's going to possibly have water, Maybe I'll tile it. I don't really know. Just seemed to make sense. And I've also laid some tiles. Not laid some tiles, but put them in place to try to help me figure out what exactly I'm going to do. And I think I have a plan. Normally you're supposed to... Oh, I have a tile out of place. Normally you're supposed to find the center of the room and sort of go from there, but this space is so tiny, I'm just going to do it like this. This will be half tiles. I'll have to find a tile cutter that I can borrow. And then I think I have to actually prime the floor. I don't exactly know. What I do know is I've had these materials sitting here for probably 2 years. I've had the tiles for 2 years, and I bought all this stuff at the exact same time. I'm pretty sure that's primer for tiling onto this sort of surface, wood. I think this is the grout, and I'm pretty sure that's the tile adhesive. So I'm gonna have to stick these in Google Translate, see what's up, read a little bit about them, and then I'm gonna just go for it. I'm scared and excited. Yay to websites with information sheets. So I've got a lot of reading to do. I don't know if I have the right kind of brush to apply this. It's saying a roller or a block brush, and I don't really have either of those. So let's see what I can find in the polytunnel. Or I might just do it with a brush and hope for the best. But I've got some reading to do about the primer because that's my next step. So I fastened on this piece of wood, and my latest puzzling thing was whether or not to tile all the way to the bottom of the wood or to leave some space so that the grout shows. But the internet seems to say that I should go all the way to the edge because eventually I think for this side I'm going to put sort of a skirting board made out of wood, and it seems like it looks a little better when it goes over the tiles. So that's my plan. I've been messing around with my laser level, but since I've made this decision, I've got to scooch everything over this way. And then I'm going to mark sort of where I want the tiles to be, take them all off, clean the floor, prime the thing, and I guess I then have to wait a couple hours for that to dry. By the way, if you don't have a laser level in your toolkit, it's definitely awesome. I haven't really used it much, but I'm definitely going to use it a lot more often because it's pretty amazing. All right, tiles, come this way, please. So I really want to get the laser level lined up with the plywood, the edge of the plywood, so that the line that shoots this way will be perpendicular to the one that way. And that means if I can get this line in between the tiles, everything will be square, at least in theory. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to mark the line up here so I know where the tiles need to be. After I get the floor prepared, clean off the tiles as well, I can put the laser back down and line it up with the lines that I have there. This guy's just hanging out amongst the tools. Supervising. So I have no guess for what this stuff even looks like. What do you think? Any guesses? No idea what color it is. I'm expecting it to be kind of like a, I don't know, like a white glue, or maybe like a tar, which is completely opposite. I really have no idea. I also have no idea how to open it. It's impenetrable. Maybe it was a tiny knife. Definitely not how I should use this knife, but that's what I have. Come on. Yay. Ooh. Okay, so it's not exactly what I was expecting. So it's got this crusty bit that's formed. This is definitely very old. Like I said, I bought it about 2 years ago, and I think the shelf life on the internet said 1 year. So perhaps I shouldn't be using it, but you know what? I'm gonna, because I have it, and I'm anxious to get on, and it does look like this part in here is still liquidy. So let's give it a try. The brush seemed to work pretty well. The first level of primer is on the floor. So I'm pretty happy with how that went. I have a couple of hours to wait for that first layer to dry, and then I'm gonna whack on the second layer. But I also have a couple of layers left of sunshine. It's about a couple layers left, a couple hours left of sunshine. It's about 4 o'clock, and I've been going really hard with the work the past couple days, and I really want to just put the camera down and go out for a wander and enjoy this lovely evening. So I'm gonna change, tidy up, and head out on a little stroll. So I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning for some tiling, finally. Surprise, surprise, it's another beautiful morning. A little chillier than the other ones, but that's okay. I think it's gonna turn into another beautiful day. I'm up early because I'm excited to get going on the tiling. I've already washed the tiles, they're ready to go. I've checked the primer, that's dry, that looks good. And last night I did a little bit of tile related research and learned a couple things that I'll talk about as I do the work. So I'm anxious to get going. I'm a little nervous, so I'm just gonna dive right into it, get a mix going, and get started. I wonder if this drill is overkill. I think most people use the attachment that goes on a hand drill, so let's see. So this looks like the right consistency, sort of thick peanut butter. Get this cleaned off and get started. I'm quite excited. I mixed up about 1/3 of a bag, and I maybe should have done a little less because I think this stuff sets pretty quickly, and I obviously don't want to rush. I've got a couple of new tools of the trade to use, and I've got my knee pads, so let's give this a go. I'm gonna butter the back of the tiles just because they're over a certain size, and that's what the internet told me to do. And then lay down a bed of this stuff without the claw marks, and then put a bit more on with the claw marks, and then sugar the tile into place. It all seems so easy when you watch people do it online, but I'm not gonna lie, I have the fear a little bit. But I've been working up to this moment for a very, very long time, and everybody cross your fingers and toes that this goes to plan. Oops. So I'm just doing sort of a base layer first, and then I'll put a bit more of this tile stuff on, and then I'll do the scrapey thing with the teeth. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this so far, because this is like 3 tiles wide now, and I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be quick at this. It's probably easier to scrape it this way. So one thing the internet showed me yesterday was that you don't want to be doing like swirling motions with the teeth. You want to keep it just in one direction. And that's because when you sort of lay the tiles in to settle, you want to sort of squash them side to side so that it sort of closes the gaps in between each ridge so that there's like no space or air in between the tiles. This is very, very fiddly. I don't know if this is going exactly to plan. I don't know how thick to put this on, really. I think it said 3 millimeters. I probably should have looked that up. But you know what? I'm in it now. I've got this stuff mixed. This just feels right somehow. Whatever I'm doing seems like it's going to be okay. Apologies to any tile people out there that are currently quite horrified. It's my first time. So I'm going to try to get enough bed down for 2 of these guys. And then just go for it, I guess. Okay, so. Put it more or less in the right spot with the line. And then I want to sort of shake it back and forth like this, so that the ridges, space between the ridges closes. And then the tile spacers, another thing I learned on the internet, they sit in like this, or like that, I guess. Like that. I guess it depends how thick I want the space. I'm in a world of confusion. I probably should also be checking level. This all seems very overwhelming. I probably should also have a sponge so I can wipe the tiles as I put them down in case they get dirty. I'm not going to say it's stressful because it's kind of nice to learn a new task, or a new skill. But when time is of the essence, when stuff dries, I guess it's a little stressful sometimes. Okay. So now I'll sugar it back and forth like this, I guess. And then a tile spacer. Get rid of that stuff. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. Tile spacer like that. And like that. And squash it in. Got a sponge. I've got a level. I don't know. I really don't know. But, oh, I forgot to butter the back of the tiles. If I start that now, they'll be higher. Do I rip up the tiles and start over? I think I'm going to do that. Come on. Okay, scratch that. They're not coming up. So, resume original plan. This is pretty tricky and fairly unenjoyable so far, but I'm hoping things improve. I don't know if you're supposed to use these things to clean out the stuff that's sticking out, but it seems to work okay. But this is pretty difficult, and I'm definitely on a time crunch because I have a pretty big bucket of this stuff to work through, so I'm gonna just get going with the work, and you'll see me hopefully when I have a floor mostly laid. Honestly, this could go either way. I could just end up with a whole bunch of tiles cemented to myself. Who knows what could happen down here. Things are a little bit hairy, and yeah, it's not something that so far I'm enjoying. So hopefully by the end of it, I get the hang of it. Your guess is as good as mine. So I'm gonna carry on, lay some tiles, and you'll see me again with some result sometime soon, I hope. So hate is a strong word. I'm not going to use that for tiling and my thoughts about it, but let me just say that tiling can suck it. I'm not a fan. It's way harder than I thought it would be, and I think, yeah, I can't tell if I'm getting better at it or if I'm just caring less because the laser level is gone. Don't remember the last time I used the level, and yeah, I'm just going for it at this stage. I'm almost done. I can't do any more. I need to cut the tiles, and a couple of lessons that have been learned in this process are don't mix up quite so much mix, because I think it would have been much wiser to lay a few tiles, let them dry, let them set, and then come and do another row, because as it is right now, when I move the tiles around, they all kind of just gelatinously shift around, stuff moves, the corners come out of line, and chaos happens. So yeah, one lesson there. Another lesson, you know, there's probably lots of lessons that I need to learn before I go do more tiling in the shower, because this has been quite tricky, kind of hilarious. I definitely don't think I've learned the skill of tiling. I need a lot more practice, but it does look like I've got these tiles down, and hopefully they stay in place, hopefully they don't crack. But I've still got a couple more to lay before I can call it a day, so let's do those, and then I'm gonna get away from this nightmare and take a break. So one of the trickier things I've been encountering is squashing the tiles down, then you get like a massive sort of globule of stuff stick out the top, and I've just been using these little tile spacers to sort of clear that out, because I need to have space for the grout, and I don't know how much space I actually need, but I definitely need more than that. So that's probably something that's not a thing a tilers do. There's probably some way to make it so it doesn't squash out the top quite so much, but you know, you just make do. There's probably some very good reason not to do this, but for now it's my only solution. I feel like I'm on a time crunch. I feel quite rushed, and yeah, a little stressed out. So definitely smaller batches of the mortar would be a good idea. I suppose I could have just let it go off and not used it and taken my time a bit more, but I only thought of that right now, so what can you do? Anyway, I'm almost done, and I'm feeling pretty good about this. Alright, I've got an army of little spacers that I've used for clearing off the stuff. I can wash these off and use them again. I'm gonna clear this off with the trowel and prepare for when I can get the tiles cut at a friend's place. And for the most part, I've got a bit of cleaning up to do, a bit more spacing to do, a bit of hammering and leveling to do still, but I'm gonna let it set up just a little bit before I start messing around too much with stuff. And I guess overall, though that was a generally traumatic experience that I don't look forward to repeating anytime soon. I'm happy with it. So this stuff is solidifying in the bucket. I'll need to get that all tidied up. Definitely this needs more attention. My trousers have been destroyed and I'm ready for a break. So this has been a really long but fairly productive-ish morning of work, and it's a really long video, so I'm going to end it here, and in the next video you'll probably see a bunch of outdoor stuff, and then I'll be back in the shower after that to tile the bottom of the shower and to grout in between the tiles that I just laid. So yeah, it's been an interesting experience. Definitely not my favorite thing in the world. I don't look forward to doing the bottom of the shower, but I look forward to the finished product of how the bathroom's gonna look. So that's my motivation for pushing forward. So that's it from me for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do subscribe, share it around to anyone you think would be interested in this sort of thing. Give it a like, it really helps the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.